Hello, beautiful souls. I hope that you are doing well. This is a message that I was strongly guided to share. It's one that I've received. It's one that I've talked about a little bit to those close to me. And today I was told it's time to share it on here with the strong intention that whoever is in alignment with this, whoever's aligned with this energy, because it is for a select collective, this message. So whoever is aligned with this will listen to this, will find this, and will listen to this. So trust that if you listen to this message and it resonates within your body, within your energy, it's absolutely speaking to you. There will not be an activation here, just the message, but I did an activation at the end of 2020 on YouTube that I'm going to link to because it is the same energy that's coming through today. So I got a vision at the very beginning of 2020, around February, March, right when everything kind of shut down, of what was going on spiritually in the ascension. I got a very solid vision, and towards the end of 2020 in December, I put that vision into an activation to activate those souls who were ready for it. So what I'm going to explain today, it's a different vision or a different metaphor, but the exact same energy. So the message that I got is for this collective, this wave of us who have gone through the ascension process and are at a particular point in our journey, resonating at a particular frequency in a particular timeline. If you think about it, we have been crossing a river. So this is the new visual that I've got specifically for this message. We've been crossing a river, and in that river, we dealt with the shadows, we dealt with the ascension symptoms, we dealt with the purging, the intuitive guidance that we followed. Sometimes we felt like we were going against the river and being met with all this resistance. Sometimes we were in a state of surrender and flowing, but nonetheless, we were in the river trying to get from one side to the next. And if you're listening to this, you have made it to the other side of that river, meaning that where you are in your journey is not where you've been. It's going to be filled with different experiences, different energies, different opportunities, those that have been embedded within your soul, within your blueprint, your destiny codes. It's been something that you have been following, whether you realized you were following it or not, right? So maybe you had a vision and you know what I'm talking about, this grand vision, or maybe it's just been this unfoldment of an inkling, of an intuition, and you didn't quite know where you were going, but you just kept heeding the call. So there is a wave of us who have reached the other side of the river. And where you are is going to look very different than where you've been. And there may be temptation to jump back into that river because it's all that you've known. But the message is to, number one, let you know that you have reached the other side, your quote-unquote destination, the timeline that you have been aligning with. You're there. It doesn't mean there's not going to be any purging or any more shadows that come up, but it's not going to be the focus of your journey anymore. The focus is more now on expansion and grounding in this new frequency. But there are many, many people who are still in that river. And there are many people who just either jumped in or through, divine intervention were pushed in, maybe by their higher selves, or, they weren't really expecting it, but now they're in the river. And our job is to stand on the other side of that river, meaning standing in the frequency that you have aligned with, your highest timeline, and helping those who are in that river get to the other side because you've been there. Now we can do that many ways. We can hold out our hand and help them up. We can throw them a lifeboat or a raft, metaphorically speaking, by putting your creations out there, by mentoring others. You can just stand in your light and live out the energy of your highest timeline, let it unfold. And as you do that, you ground in the light, and that naturally helps others. So this is the important message that's coming through. Other than letting you know that you're there, do not jump back into the river because of fear or doubt or the illusion that you're not where you truly are. Because there is a whole collective that is going to be working out a lot of karma, that's going to be embarking on their spiritual journey, on their divine unfoldment path. You may see, you may witness others working through their shadows, experiencing karmas, experiencing tower moments. You may consume, or there might be content on your radar that is talking about, how there are tough times ahead, or, there's, I don't want to say fear-inducing, because for a large population, the content will speak to them, right? So it is speaking to a select group of people, but if it does not feel right for you where you are, then use your discernment. So what is coming through is you're not in the river. So if you consume something and it makes you believe, because of, let's say, an astrological event, that it's going to be really, really hard, that might not be for you anymore. Maybe that same astrological event grounds you more into your light. It is an expansion opportunity, but for others, it may be difficult because they are still working through the unconscious blocks. They're still working through the shadows. You have been there though. So continue to stand in your light and continue to ground in your highest timeline. And know and recognize with compassion and empathy, and observe without getting entangled in the energy, right? Stand in that observation mode with that compassion and empathy, and allow yourself to help this new collective that is on their journey in whatever ways feels aligned with you. Not thinking that should look a certain way, not thinking that you should, not allowing the ego to tell you you're not doing enough to help others, you should be doing it that way, but rather by living in your heart space and saying, this is what feels best for me. And I know that what feels best for me, whether I consciously realize it or not, is providing this light and this aid and assistance to this whole new group of people who need it. But I don't need to jump back in the river myself and try to save them. So that is the message that is coming through for you. If you're listening to this, what you have been aligning with, you're there. The first little bit of this calendar year, let yourself acclimate to being there, open up to new perspectives, new routines, new ways of living, new ways of being that may look very, very different than what you have been doing. Just let yourself acclimate to being here. And if you observe others in that river, again, don't jump in, but know that it is so important for you and for them that you stand on the other side and you are the living, breathing embodiment and example of somebody who has gone through it and you have made it to the other side. So that is the message that wanted to come through very strongly. I'm going to link to that YouTube activation. We don't use the metaphor of a river. This just came through for this channeling, but it's the exact same energy that is coming through now. So I'm going to link to that below. I hope that you have an amazing day. I have several offerings this month, gatherings, extensive healings that are intended to help us release the final pieces of whatever was keeping us in that quote unquote river, like those final programs, and really let us shift and ground in this highest timeline. So if you know that you're there, but you feel like you could use extra assistance or a community or support, I'll link to what I'm offering this month. You can check that out. Sending you so much love, and I will talk with you next time.